It's tipping it down, it's day 5, and we've been here on the red carpet talking to Jon Stewart about his directorial debut, Rosewater. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you.
Can you tell me a little bit about why it was so important for you to make this film, and also about the reaction it's received, especially from the Iranian government?
I've always wanted to sit in a director's chair. I just think they're very comfortable, but if you're not a director, you're typically not allowed to sit in them. It was a story, Maziar and I became friendly after he was released, and his memoir is so compelling and well observed and analytical and beautiful that I was honored that he would trust me to even try and tell it. So,
I mean, this is a film that touches on a lot of different themes, but one of them is the importance of journalism and free press.
Right.
I'm curious, what's your assessment of the state of American press, given the fact that some of the major networks like Fox seem to be largely driven by political bias and commercial interest?
Well, certainly commercial interest. I think part of the difficulty there, we've created these sort of 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, huge infrastructures for news that are really built for catastrophe, for earthquakes and 9/11, and that's when they are appropriate. But in the absence of those grand stories, rather than go into hibernation and appear when needed, I think that they incentivize now sensationalism and urgency. They have to take ordinary news and amplify it to the level of catastrophe. And so it's created this incredible momentum towards urgency and fear and war, and it's been a really, I think, destructive force for American politics in general. Other than that, though, it's really good. Good sports coverage.
My favorite scenes in the film were the interrogation sequences between Guile and Kim.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about your aesthetic choices for that, because they're extremely violent, it's dark, but there's also some hallucinatory elements to it. Does that come from the book? Were you guided by that, or was that some artistic license?
There was some artistic license. There was a sense of, it was sort of an embodiment of Maziar's ability to sustain himself in isolation. Yeah. One of the things that's so torturous about isolation, I think, is it removes your ability to process your distress. I sort of think about, I worked in restaurants for a long time as I was trying to be a comic. And the little things of the day, this guy would sit 2 people at a 4-top, and the rest of my day would be chatting with my friends, like, you believe this fucking guy? He sat 2 people at my 4, and that's your outlet for all that occurs to you. It's to remove your ability to process what's happening to you with reinforcement from your friends is now you're alone. And so you turn it internal, and you rely on family and culture and your history and your experience. And it was a way of trying to express that cinematically, since it's so interior.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As a first-time filmmaker, what have you learned from the experience of making this movie?
I honestly feel like the best thing I learned from it is to trust your discomfort, to never be afraid to admit your shortcomings, to hire people around you that really know what they're doing, and have them raise flags, red and otherwise, as often and as early as possible, because the collaboration, your best ability is to be able to recognize when somebody's got a great idea or when one of your ideas is shit, and you don't want to waste everybody's time in pursuing it.
Yeah. Just ask quickly. Maziar's obviously tried to sort of funnel through and deal with the experiences through writing about it and things like that. Did you notice any sort of impact with the visualization, with the fact that he brought it to life, how he coped?
I think he was really, part of what's interesting about him is his ability to compartmentalize the experience. And I think what allowed him to write such a compelling memoir is, it's funny, the lesson is don't arrest journalists, because they are trained to remember shit. They know, they pay attention, they analyze, they have an eye for articulating the parts of their experience that you don't want people to know. And his ability to do that, I think, is what allows him to compartmentalize it. That being said, I think on set there'd be moments where his ease with it, I think, would, I would say, so Maziar, come here. So is this what the cell looked like, and is that how they hit you? And then for a second I'd be like, oh my God, I'm that asshole. I'm that guy, you know, making him relive it. But there were only, it was the moments with family that were much tougher for him. The scenes that we did with him and his sister were the ones that were, I think, he had much more difficulty with in terms of emotional.
Rosewater is out in the UK on the 14th of November, and if you want to see a review for that, head over to the site. We'll put a link in the description below. Thanks for watching.